Welcome back to pregame.tv. We're going to take a look at Sunday baseball action. We've got Arizona at San Diego. Ken, what can I say about the San Diego Padres? Worst lineup in baseball as far as run production goes, hitting-wise. They're going to be facing Arizona, but, you want to talk about which is the bigger disappointment. San Diego Padres in the way they can't score runs, or Arizona in general, because a lot of people thought Arizona was going to be a decent team this year.
Yeah, no doubt. And they actually made a nice little stride after getting way in the hole early in the year, dropping 11 of their first 12 home games. They were able to make a run, get under 10 games, under 500, get that down to, I think they got to within 8 games of 500, and then fell apart again. So now back to 15 games under 500. So not playing well. A lot of pressure on Kirk Gibson. And, it's kind of sad because when you have a guy like Paul Goldschmidt, that is the all-everything guy. I mean, he leads the National League with hits, has 28 doubles. I mean, he's just a stud. If he's playing anywhere else, I mean, like Major City, we're hearing about this guy like no tomorrow. It's kind of like Popovich for San Antonio. If he's in New York, Chicago, or L.A., I mean, forget about it. He's headlines out the wazoo. But this is sad for Goldschmidt because he's pretty much on his own. Goldschmidt,
and this is not a guy that just got hot. Brian and I went to spring training.
Right.
This guy was pounding the baseball in spring training. I mean, from day one, he's been knocking the cover off the baseball, and he hasn't shown any signs of letting up. And it's a shame, like you said, to have a talent like that on a team that's just, they're like a boat with no oars out in the ocean.
Yeah,
I don't know which this team's going to go. But getting back to San Diego, I mean, how can this team be this inept offensively?
Yeah, you can blame it on Petco Park not being a hitter's park. I mean, they brought the fences in 2 years ago, and still just, if you can't hit the ball, if you can't get base hits, if you can't get guys on base, their on-base percentage is a joke. They have, I want to say, 4 or 5 guys that are under 200. I mean, you can't have that.
Now, Arizona's got Bolsinger going, who, as you said right before we went on the air, he's coming off of 2 good outings, his last 2. And both of them were at home, though. And I'm going to play devil's advocate to you here. He went 6 1/3, gave up 3 runs against a pretty good Milwaukee lineup. And then he went 7 2/3, 1 run against San Francisco. Now, we know San Francisco, after being the best team in baseball for, the first month and a half of the season, they turn around and, now they've had a slide.
Either, right.
Yeah. So what do you make of that, and now that he's going out on the road?
The thing is, Bolsinger also, who had his start against San Francisco and pitched very well against Matt Cain and the Giants, got the win up at AT&T, got some run support. Something about the second game, because we know how jacked up somebody's going to be to get that first start. And Despaigne had that shutout against San Francisco, was his opening game, wants to solidify himself as part of the staff, feels he probably did that in that opener, now coming back home. Again, it's a pitcher's park, and that's one thing with Bolsinger. Yes, he did it at home, but now he's going on the road, and where's he going? He's going to a pitcher's park in Petco. So the success that he's had his last 2 outings, I can see him having more success at Petco.
Now, do you, again, playing devil's advocate, because one of my other angles, I like pitchers the first time around the league. The fact that Arizona's not seen this kid, do you think that presents a problem to Arizona?
Again, Arizona is what they are, but again, their lineup to me is much more capable of getting runs for Bolsinger than San Diego's lineup is for Despaigne.
And even though Despaigne had a great first outing, we both commented on the fact he only allowed 4 hits, but he only had 1 strikeout in the game. So it's not like his stuff was a mystery. They were hitting him. They just were hitting him right at somebody.
Exactly.
So
that's it. They had some hard hits. But to his credit, he didn't walk anybody. And if you can do that, you got a good chance, especially up at AT&T, another pitcher's park for the most part. There's some gaps there that if you hit him in the gap. But he pitched very well. And again, going against a Giants team like we talked about, that all of a sudden they have not hit the baseball over the last 2 weeks.
Well, you know what? I think I have an idea which way you're going, but let's make it official.
All right. Yeah, initially I was going to look at the under in this game, and Petco, I mean, you're always going to see 6.5s over there. So Despaigne coming off the shutout up there at AT&T, and then Bolsinger off his last 2 outings. And in those outings, 14 innings, he's given up 4 earned runs. He's given up 12 hits. He's walked 1 in those 14 innings, but he struck out 10. So a nice 10-to-1 ratio there. We'll take that all day. Again, Despaigne, not an overpowering pitcher outside of being, size-wise. You'd look at him and you'd think he's somebody that's going to get a lot of strikeouts, but not the case, at least in that first outing against San Francisco. Again, I'm more or less gut feeling, have a feeling Arizona is going to score more runs in this series against San Diego. Their lineup is better intact. I mean, you have some guys that can hit. Owings, the former pitcher, is hitting 277. Prado, 271. Montero, who's got some power at 265. Parra, 265. All of those averages are higher than anybody on San Diego except for Seth Smith. And when you look at some of these averages, it makes you scratch your head. How are these guys in the major leagues? I mean, how can we not just bring our Double-A team up and have a better hitting average? You've got Headley, who was one of these guys that was supposed to be San Diego's future, 199. Grandal, 193. Quentin got a big contract extension, 179. Jerko, contract extension, 162. Alonso, 210. And Amarista, 216. And these are Amarista, 216. You're like one of our top hitters. I mean, this is really scary. This team scored 55 runs in 23 games in the month of June. Not going to get it done again. And 2 of those games, they had a 9 spot and a 6 spot. So you take those away. I mean, and this team's literally struggling mightily to score at 2 runs a game in the month of June. So going to take a shot on Arizona. Again, Goldschmidt will lead the way. I'm sure he'll have some gappers there at Petco. And again, San Diego will do what they can to pitch around this guy. But there's enough protection in that Arizona lineup. They should score some runs. Again, not going to be overpowering, but I'm looking at, you get 4 or 5 runs against San Diego, you're going to win most of those games. Plus, it's been a very trying week. Last night was an honoring of Tony Gwynn at Petco. Better than 20,000 showed up. The teammates were there. As far as the team players from San Diego. So it's been a draining, emotional time. A lot of the guys dealing, with the funeral and everything like that. So San Diego really, right now, just getting back into things, but they're not playing good baseball. And again, offensively, they're not doing well. So Despaigne, despite pitching well against San Francisco, I just think it's a flash in the pan, and I really think that Arizona's going to key in on them, get some key hits, and they're going to take care of business.
Bottom line, the San Diego offense has been quite offensive. It's been quite offensive.
Very good, no doubt.
All right, there you have it. Ken says to take Arizona on Sunday. We've got one more. We're going to head out to AT&T, San Francisco. A lot of people think that's the best ballpark in baseball. We're going to preview Cincinnati at San Francisco. That's up next. Pregame.tv.